Maximum alert, Commanders! While a Super Bowl veteran steals the spot from our young promise, the NFC East is frozen with 4 lethal units ready to tear us apart. The salvation, $96 million in the hands of the QB who has just unlocked his ultimate weapon. But if you don't act today, you'll miss how a free agent is destroying the future of a draft pick in 72 hours. Why? Our division is the deadliest cage in the NFL, and what trap Quinn has set. The secret phrase of Daniels that will make McLaurin explode. Subscribe before the video reaches 10,000 views, or risk falling behind when Washington is reborn. Click or ruin your season. I can't believe we're once again discussing whether we have enough depth at wide receiver when we supposedly resolved that in a draft. But here we are, and after the New England Patriots cut Kendrick Bourne on Friday, the Washington Commanders immediately, and when I say immediately, I mean they didn't waste even 5 minutes, scheduled a visit for Tuesday with the veteran receiver. And brother, this tells me exactly what Dan Quinn and Adam Peters' organization thinks about Luke McCaffrey and his development. Look, I totally understand Peters' logic. The GM knows Bourne intimately from his golden days in San Francisco when the receiver was a key piece in the 49ers' runs to multiple conference championships. Bourne isn't just another available veteran. He's a player that Peters watched develop from an undrafted free agent into a legitimate threat in the slot and third down situations. But are you fully aware of the devastating implications this has for McCaffrey? The son of Christian McCaffrey, who was our 100th selection in the 2024 draft, was already struggling desperately for significant minutes behind Terry McLaurin, who is obviously untouchable, Uber Samuel Sr., who has been consistent when healthy, and Noah Brown, who earned the coaching staff's trust last year with his sure hands. And it doesn't end there. Now with the 4th-round rookie, Jalen Lane, absolutely impressing everyone at this summer's training camp. I speak with sources within the organization who tell me this kid has been a complete revelation, showing crisp route running and magnetic hands that weren't expected from a 4th-round pick. McCaffrey could dramatically drop to the 6th option if Bourne indeed signs. And you know what's most frustrating and concerning about this whole situation? That McCaffrey showed genuine flashes of brilliance this summer during training camp. I saw the highlights, talked with reporters who covered the practices, and the consensus is that the kid has all the physical tools and football IQ to be successful in this league. But, and this is a massive but, the consistency just isn't there yet, and in a league where every snap counts and every target is invaluable, inconsistency kills you. I fervently believe that McCaffrey has the talent to be a significant contributor, but talent without consistency gets you absolutely nowhere in this ruthless league. The Commanders are in win now mode, with Jaden Daniels entering his crucial 2nd year. That window where young quarterbacks either explode and become stars or stagnate, and the organization simply can't afford to patiently wait for McCaffrey to develop that needed consistency. Now I ask you directly, does Peter see something specific in Bourne that we as fans aren't fully appreciating? The 29-year-old veteran is coming off a 2024 season where he could only play 11 games due to a knee injury that significantly limited him. But when he was completely healthy on the field, he categorically showed he can still produce at the NFL level. In his best years with the New England Patriots, especially in 2021 and 2022, Bourne was absolutely reliable on 3rd down conversions and clutch situations. He had natural chemistry with Mac Jones, showed sure hands in heavy traffic, and more importantly, understood how to find the soft spots in zone coverage. These are skills not easily taught and invaluable for a young quarterback like Daniels, Bourne's. Numbers in his best season speak for themselves. In 2021, he had 55 receptions for 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. And in 2022, he maintained a solid receiving average before injuries began affecting him. These aren't all pro numbers, but they are reliable numbers of a receiver who can move the chains when his team needs it. But here's what genuinely concerns me as a long-term fan. And if we bring in Bourne, what clear and direct message are we sending? To McCaffrey and all other young players in development, that we don't trust him to contribute meaningfully in his 2nd professional year. That we prefer veteran experience over the development of young talent specifically drafted to be part of our future. I'll say this with total honesty. In this league, especially in the modern era of the salary cap in the draft, you can't effectively develop young players if you're constantly bringing veterans to replace them or take their opportunities. It's a mentality that can create an environment where rookies and second-year players never feel they have a genuine chance to prove their value. The brutal and undeniable reality is that McCaffrey will have to earn his place primarily on special teams first, and that's where he can truly show his immediate value to the team. And from that platform convincingly demonstrate he deserves more significant offensive snaps. But with Dan Quinn demanding immediate excellence in all aspects of the game and Cliff Kingsbury needing receivers who can execute his complex offensive system without mental errors, the margin for McCaffrey's error is practically minimal. And here's another important consideration. The San Francisco 49ers also scheduled a visit with Bourne for Monday, which means we have direct competition for his services. If the Niners, who are perennial contenders and have an established winning culture, are also interested, that validates that Bourne still has juice left in the tank. The million-dollar question is, can the Commanders offer something San Francisco cannot? Opportunity, money, a more prominent role in the offense? Because if we're purely competing on prestige and championship opportunities, the 49ers clearly have the advantage there. All this leads me to an inevitable conclusion. The next week will be absolutely critical to determining not only Luke McCaffrey's immediate future, but also to understanding exactly what kind of philosophy this new administration has regarding the balance between veteran experience and youth development. If you thought our division was competitive before, wait until you hear this. Matt Verderame from Sports Illustrated just ranked the top units in the entire NFL. And folks, the NFC East is absolutely stacked with elite talent. Did you know our division has 4 units ranked as the best in the whole league? The Giants, who had a 3-14 record last year, boast the best defensive line in football. I've seen Dexter Lawrence wreck games from the trenches, and now with Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and rookie Abdul Carter, that unit is terrifying. The Cowboys, who didn't even make the playoffs, have the best special teams in the league. Remember the November game when Kevontae Turpin returned that 99-yard kickoff just when we had cut the lead to 3 points? That's why they're the best. And don't get me started on Brandon Aubrey. That kicker is automatic. The Eagles Super Bowl champions obviously have the best offensive line in the NFL. Both tackles were all pro last season. Landon Dickerson has been to 3 straight Pro Bowls, and Cam Jurgens, filling in for Jason Kelce, also made the Pro Bowl. That line is a fortress. And we, the Commanders, have the best linebacker unit with Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu. Both were second-team All-Pro last year. But I'm telling you this. We need more depth behind these 2 pillars. Now I ask you, do you realize what this means? Dan Quinn has to prepare this team to face the best defensive line in the league when we play the Giants, the best offensive line when it's the Eagles, and the top special teams when the Cowboys arrive. There's no room for error. But here's what excites me. We have Jaden Daniels, and I believe this guy can explode against any defense when he's protected. Our offensive line has improved, our running game is solid, and with Terry McLaurin locked down for 3 more years, we have the pieces to compete. And you know the toughest reality? 9 of our 17 games this season will be against teams that have at least 1 unit ranked as the best in the entire league. This is going to be a battle every Sunday. This is exactly what we were desperately waiting and dreaming about all offseason. Terry McLaurin finally signed his massive 3-year extension for exactly $96 million, definitively bringing to an end months of uncertainty, speculation, and frankly anxiety-inducing rumors about whether our franchise receiver might end up somewhere else. And the immediate and genuinely heartfelt reaction from Jaden Daniels was absolutely everything any Commanders fan could have hoped for, and more. This wasn't some generic PR-coached response. This was real emotion from a young quarterback who clearly understands the importance of maintaining his most reliable weapon. Listen to this story exactly as Daniels told it during his interview. With Taylor Rooks on NFL on Prime Video, because the details matter and show you exactly the type of person and leader we have at quarterback. Daniels was literally in the middle of a training session, running drills, working on his craft, when he decided to take a quick break. He went into the locker room, casually picked up his phone, probably expecting nothing more than routine social media updates, and bam, saw the news that Terry had officially signed. And what did our 24-year-old quarterback do immediately? He didn't run to call his agent to discuss how this might affect his own future contract negotiations. He didn't go to social media to post something generic. He went straight to find Terry personally to celebrate with his teammate face to face. We were on the field running. I went to the locker room, looked at my phone, and saw the news. Then I went straight to find Terry. Honestly, I was really happy for him. All the work he's put in over the years earned it. Now we're back to focusing, preparing for week 1, said Daniels with genuine enthusiasm that you simply cannot fake. And do you know why this response makes me incredibly optimistic about our future? Because it demonstrates multiple leadership qualities that are essential for any franchise quarterback who wants to win championships in this league. First, it shows selflessness. In an era where young quarterbacks often develop massive egos and think everything revolves around them, Daniels immediately made Terry's achievement about Terry, not about himself. This is mature leadership from a player who just completed his rookie season. Second, it shows appreciation for hard work. When Daniels said all the work he's put in over the years earned it, he's specifically acknowledging that McLaurin earned this contract through consistent performance, professional conduct, and reliability over multiple years with mediocre quarterback play before Daniels arrived. Third, it shows focus on team goals. Now we're back to focusing, preparing for week 1 tells you everything about Daniels' mindset. He's not dwelling on contracts or individual achievements. He's focused on team preparation and winning games. But let me break down for you exactly why the chemistry between these two players last year was genuinely spectacular and gives us every reason to be excited about the future. McLaurin had exactly 82 receptions, 1,096 receiving yards, and 13 touchdowns in 2024. And that was with a rookie quarterback who was learning the NFL game. On the fly, consider that Daniels had never played at this level before, was adjusting to NFL speed, learning complex defensive schemes, dealing with elite pass rushers, and managing game situations he'd never encountered in college. Despite all those challenges, McLaurin still managed to post those incredible numbers. But more important than raw statistics was watching the development of their timing and chemistry throughout the season. Early in the season, you could see certain routes where they weren't quite on the same page, where Daniels might throw to a spot where McLaurin wasn't expecting, or where McLaurin might break off a route while Daniels was still expecting him to continue. But by mid-season, and especially during our strong finish, you could see that connection becoming increasingly natural and instinctive. Daniels learned exactly how McLaurin likes to set up his routes, particularly on comeback routes and back shoulder fades. McLaurin, meanwhile, adjusted his route running slightly to accommodate Daniels' arm strength and release timing. And here's the kicker, and excuse me for the pun, many expert analysts believe that this connection still has enormous room to grow and improve. Daniels, despite his incredible rookie performance, was essentially learning how to be an NFL quarterback during games. He hadn't had years of college experience as a full-time starter, hadn't faced consistently elite competition every week, and certainly hadn't dealt with the mental aspects of being the face of a franchise. Now, entering his second year as a professional, Daniels has a complete understanding of offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury's system, has developed better pre-snap reads, understands defensive tendencies much better, and most importantly for this discussion, has established genuine trust with McLaurin as his primary target. McLaurin, meanwhile, now entering his age 30 season in September. But I guarantee to you that this man is still absolutely in his prime physical condition. Wide receivers today are maintaining elite performance much longer than previous generations, primarily due to advances in sports science, nutrition, recovery methods, and training techniques. Look at examples around the league. Julio Jones was said productive into his early 30s. Larry Fitzgerald played at a high level until 37. And DeAndre Hopkins just had an excellent season at age 31. McLaurin meticulously takes care of his body, hasn't had a significant injury history, and his game relies more on route running precision and intelligent positioning than purely on speed that might diminish with age. For many professional analysts who regularly watch film, this connection between Daniels and McLaurin has legitimate potential to become one of the most dangerous and productive combinations in the entire NFL within the next 2 seasons. We're talking about potential Pro Bowl selections for both players, 1,400 plus receiving yards for McLaurin and 4,500 plus passing yards for Daniels. And now, with the contract situation completely resolved, McLaurin can focus 100% on football preparation without any mental distractions about his future. No more wondering if this might be his last season in Washington. No more speculation about potential trades. No more questions from reporters about contract negotiations. That psychological relief and mental clarity are invaluable for professional athletes. When you're financially secure and know exactly where you'll be playing for the next 3 years, you can completely invest in learning new aspects of the offensive system, building chemistry with teammates, and focusing on team goals, rather than individual achievements or future security. The stability this brings to our entire offensive unit cannot be overstated. Daniels now definitively knows he'll have his most trusted target available for at least 3 more seasons, which allows him to develop more complex timing routes, practice advanced route combinations during training camp, and build the kind of intuitive connection championship teams require. From a team-building perspective, this extension sends a powerful message to every player on the roster about organizational commitment to excellence. When you take care of your best players financially, it shows everyone else that good performance and professionalism will be rewarded. It also provides incredible recruiting advantages when pursuing free agents. Players want to join organizations that retain their own talent, that have stable quarterback situations, and that demonstrate long-term commitment to building winners rather than constantly churning rosters. The first chapter of this new era will be written on Sunday, September 7th, when the Commanders open the 2025 season against the New York Giants at home. And with McLaurin contractually secured and motivated, Daniels more confident and experienced, and the entire offensive system now entering its 2nd year under Kingsbury, Washington honestly enters this campaign surrounded by legitimate expectations and promising indicators. Can you imagine Daniels with 3 more complete years of professional development, gradually developing perfect timing with McLaurin on every route concept? Picture McLaurin completely comfortable financially, playing with pure joy and competitive fire because he knows he's building something special in Washington. That's Burgundy and Gold football at its finest, baby. Look, after thoroughly analyzing these 3 major news stories shaping our franchise right now, I ask you this with complete seriousness. Are you genuinely prepared mentally and emotionally for what's coming this season? Because based on everything we just discussed, this is not going to be an ordinary season where we can coast or have realistic expectations of mediocrity. We have the best linebacker unit in the entire NFL, with Wagner and Louvu anchoring our defense. We have our franchise quarterback enthusiastically celebrating the contract extension of his star receiver, showing exactly the kind of leadership and team-first mentality that champions are built on. And we have a front office making active, aggressive moves in the free agent market that demonstrates they're not satisfied with the status quo and are committed to improving every aspect of our roster. But let's be completely honest about challenges we're facing. Every single game in our division will be a legitimate test against elite-level talent. The Giants might have had a terrible record last year, but the defensive line could absolutely dominate games if our offensive line doesn't execute perfectly. The Cowboys might not have made playoffs, but their special teams can change field, position, and momentum at any moment. And the Eagles are defending Super Bowl champions with the best offensive line in football. Do you honestly believe that Kendrick Bourne genuinely improves our depth chart significantly? Or do you think Luke McCaffrey deserves a real opportunity to prove himself after being drafted specifically to contribute to our future? This is not a simple question. It reveals fundamental philosophy about veteran experience versus youth development that will shape decisions for years to come. Do you think the NFC East being so incredibly competitive, with 4 units ranked, as the best in the entire NFL actually makes us stronger through constant competition? Or does it significantly complicate our path to the playoffs because there are literally no easy games on our schedule? And what do you specifically expect from the Daniels-McLaurin connection now that Terry has his financial security completely resolved and can focus purely on football performance? Are we talking about potential 1,400 receiving yards? 15 plus touchdowns? A legitimate Pro Bowl selection for both players? This is our Commanders family, a community that has suffered through decades of mediocrity, ownership dysfunction, and broken promises, but has remained loyal because we believe in the potential of this franchise when properly managed. And I need every one of you to form an active part of this growing community of passionate, informed fans. If you genuinely believe that this season represents a legitimate turning point towards sustained excellence, then demonstrate that belief by engaging with this content. Hit that like button to show your support and confidence. Share your honest thoughts in the comments about these developments because every perspective matters in our community. What are your realistic predictions for our win total this season, considering both our improvements and the incredible strength of our division? Which specific player do you believe will be our biggest surprise contributor? Are you optimistic about our playoff chances, or do you think we need another year of development before contending seriously? Subscribe to this channel, because I guarantee we'll have more breaking news, in-depth analysis, and exclusive insights on every single move this franchise makes. We're building something special here, a community where every fan's voice matters and where we can celebrate together when things go right and support each other when facing challenges. Let me know also if you want more detailed breakdowns of specific position groups, salary cap implications of these major signings, or comparative analysis of how our roster stacks up against division rivals. Your engagement helps me understand exactly what type of content serves this community best. And always remember, whether we're celebrating contract extensions or analyzing difficult roster decisions, whether we're preparing for another playoff run or fighting through adversity, we stand together as a Commanders family that believes in this franchise and supports these players through everything. Because I say this with absolute conviction, with Adam Peters consistently making smart, calculated decisions in the front office, Dan Quinn meticulously preparing this team for the absolute war that is the NFC East, and Jaden Daniels developing into the franchise quarterback we've desperately needed for decades, we are genuinely building something historically special here in Washington. Hail to the Commanders, and let's go to the Super Bowl!